What's the point of this whole inner work healing journey if you don't integrate back into the world? Like this is something that I ran into in my own life. You start the healing journey, the path of consciousness, individuation, whatever you want to call it. We're all using different terms to describe the same thing. But you start this journey and you become aware of you and your patterns and your pain and all this wounding, and then you can also see the wounding out in the world too, and you're like, wow, this is right. And you kind of, it makes you take a step back from society, and you kind of start to question, like, man, a lot of these people that I thought were my friends were just kind of like drinking friends, and I don't need to be associated with that, and I don't need to like engage in these old patterns, and I don't need to be the person I used to be. And you are operating with a much higher degree of awareness, and you're looking at stuff, and you kind of just view the world, and you see a lot of the dysfunction, right? You see it, you're like, oh man, a lot of this world operates very unconsciously, like just it's just in these weird unconscious pattern loops, and then you just extrapolate that across like millions and billions of people, and that's society. It's civilization. Like, wow, what a dysfunctional world we live in. No wonder there's so many problems, right? And that's kind of like the first stage of the journey, is like you move out of this unconscious material, like you were operating unconsciously in the material matrix, and you get out of that, and now you're in this immaterial spiritual world. But the problem is now you get into this spiritual matrix that you're not necessarily aware of, because you get trapped into transcendence. It's the transcendence trap. You think like, I'm going to move out of the material matrix and go into the spiritual one, but now you're just in a different matrix, and you're still in the same prison. You've just like, I'm just more aware and more conscious of the chains of the prison that I'm in, but I'm still in the prison. You know what I mean? So it's and I see a lot of people, and I fell into this for years, is like you start that healing journey, the consciousness journey, and you just kind of want to like not play the game. You're like, what? Why? Like, this is awful. All of this is so, there's so much dysfunction. I see why the monks and the nuns, they live in their covens, and they just live on top of a mountain and just meditate and not engage with the world. I see why they do this now. I get it. I also just don't think that that's, what's the point of having all of that awareness, enlightenment, if you will? What's the point of having that if you don't utilize it? If you don't utilize it to actualize your own potential, if you don't utilize it to actualize and build something that can benefit other people, like having all of this awareness is, it's a blessing in the sense of you see all of this, but it's a curse in the sense of the weight of the responsibility that you are not now living out. And that for me was the big painful part with a lot of my healing journey, the spiritual path, is I was trying to transcend out of material existence. And by doing that, it's like I thought I was way better than people who were still in the material existence and hadn't had that same level of awareness. And yet, I couldn't escape the existential suffering that was my unrealized potential. Like, cool, I'm no longer unconsciously operating in this material world like I used to think I was. Or like, I'm sorry, like I didn't realize I was. I'm no longer unconsciously operating down here. I'm up here now, and I'm aware of it. And what? You're still not building something. You're still not becoming. You understand it, you're aware of it, but you're not embodying it. You're not living it. You're not having the impact that you could. And that's the second stage. I think when I think of like meditate on like Christ's journey, it's like when Christ began doing his sermons, that was really the embodiment practice. Like he had gone off on his inner adventure wherever his travels took him, whether he went to the East, whether he was doing a lot of meditation on his own for those first 30 years or so. But then when he began his preaching from 30 to 33, those 3 years, like that was the embodiment. That was the application. He'd done all the awareness spiritual work for up until that. But imagine if he hadn't applied that in actual life. Would have just been gone. And I think I see the same thing with people who do a lot of the healing work, and then they just stay doing the healing work forever, and they don't actually integrate back into material world. They don't apply that on the dating scene in terms of a romantic relationship. Like, cool, you've done a bunch of this inner child, inner teen healing. Are you going to actually live this out in a relational dynamic, or are you going to feel like you're just above dating and like people just don't get me because I'm so enlightened and so I'm like above the dating scene? And a lot of people get into that trap, and so I don't really exactly have a main plot point with this. I just wanted to yap about this. Is just a common trend. Is I think your whole healing thing is great, and I think a lot of people need to do that. And there's the more people that start to do this, good. It's an expansion of consciousness. But I think that's the first stage of the expansion of consciousness. The second stage is I have to embody this through application back into the material world. You transcend out of the unconscious material existence, but now you're just kind of a prisoner of this unconscious spiritual or semi-conscious spiritual existence. And now you have to ground back in, and now you've bridged both worlds into this integrated middle. You've bridged hell, heaven, down into the heart of earth in the center point. And I think that's the third stage, I guess, if you will, to where you actually want to get to. Anyways, going on a long one on this one, but hope this resonates. Happy to discuss further with you guys. See you in the next one.